Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Milena Landrio, and I want to thank each and every one of you for sharing space with me. And if you're returning, thank you for being so patient. I know that I don't post as often as some on this platform, but I'm very grateful for your support and your presence. Thank you for sharing space. I am going to start this message before I get into the channel that I received the other day. I'm going to just jump into something that's I was talking about with my partner today, and particularly those of us that are empathic, and more so those who are like a highly sensitive empath, such as a Hyoka empath, is very significant today. In the first part of the message that I want to relay, I am such empath where I am able to feel and connect with very big depths of emotion off multiple people at the same time. I've been like this since I was born. It actually, I had to learn this through a lot of pain to understand how I'm able to connect. So I'm going to give you an example because I feel for some of my viewers, you might be experiencing this or your child might be experiencing this. And I just want to relay this understanding before I get into wherever this is going to go. My ancestors are also guiding me to utilize this particular deck to guide me in what I'm to say specifically. But as the example, and it took me a long time to, and I don't like the labels. I really don't like the labels. You know, there are so many things that all of us are able to do. And to limit us to just this one pathway, to me it's a disservice. So although I might state I'm intuitive, I might state I'm empathic, I might state I'm a medium, I'm not stating that's solely who I am. I'm stating that's an aspect of what I can do. That's an aspect of an ability that I have. That's an aspect of a gift or a way of communication or connection that I am able to partake in. And we all have various roots. Some of us are able to cook. This is a gift, right? Not everybody can cook. This is a gift. Some of us are just very eloquent with our words. That's also a gift. Some of us just think outside of the box, and some of us cannot do that. Both gifts, both very much supports the pathway that each and every one of us has as we move forward. So I'm saying this because I feel like there is a multitude of people, I know there's a multitude of people in this world that believe that we can all do the same thing. And I strongly disagree. I don't think that we can all do the same thing. I think that we come here with varying gifts to support us in whatever it is our life lesson, our mission, the release of karma, whatever our life path is pertaining us to direct us in this realm, in this lifetime, in this vessel is what it's for. And I feel like I have come across so many people who really misunderstand me because I may not express something out loud that they might be believing about me. And I just let people believe what they want to believe about me. I don't correct them. If you want to think that I'm dumb, go ahead and think I'm dumb. That's okay. I've had to learn that through a series of hard knocks from my teacher in grade 2, calling me stupid in front of my classroom and spanking me and throwing me in the garbage can, for instance, is one hard knock that I had. I had to learn through a series of self-esteem builders and worthiness, through a pattern of really disservicing experiences that I've had to go through to come to the point where I am today, where I know that I'm fucking intelligent. I know a fucking lot. And yes, I'm cursing. And some people like to relay that cursing is a form of unintelligence. And I beg to differ on that. But anyways, it is what it is, right? I will not apologize for being me, and nor should you. You should not apologize for being you. But we all owe it to each other to be present in who we are and who we're here to be. And as somebody who can feel very deeply, I'm going to give myself a little label right now because this is going to help some of you understand something because I feel like some of you might be dealing with this in your personal life right now. You might be a parent with a young child. You might be finding this young child is really causing you to teeter on the edge because of the differences when you look outside of your vessel. And the vessel, when you are a parent with a child, is your family unit. You come as the vessel of a parent. You have a child, you and the child come as a vessel, and you have a partner in that mix, your husband, your wife. You come as a package together. So each of you, although you have your separate entity as a unit, as a vessel, you all have become a vessel as well. So when we move in life as parents, we look around us in our classrooms. We're in these systems where the kids are taught to learn a specific way. Well, not everybody learns the same way. And it's really important that we understand that, because when we go to school, and I've seen this time and time again, where there's this like silent competition amongst maybe parents, my kid's more intelligent than yours, or just this looking down upon the way another parent might parent their kids versus the way they might parent their kids, or this judgment call on how the parent chooses to allow their child to be. I mean, if you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about, because we all experience this in one way, shape, or form. And what we all have to understand is that when we look outside of ourselves and we compare, well, that family is not freaking out like my kid's freaking out. They must be doing something right, versus I must be doing something wrong because my kid's really freaking out all the time. No, you just have a child that just learns differently. There's nothing to do more than that, than just to figure out how to support them. So the reason why I'm saying all this is that I, as somebody who has been a very sensitive child since I was born, and I've come to the understanding, and when I read up about this particular type of empathic person being, I can relate to a lot of aspects based on what I've experienced in my life. And in particular, I'm speaking to those with what is called perhaps a hayoka empath, okay? And this is something that I relate to very greatly, just based on the depth in which I have experienced human connection. So, example, when I was a child, I remember sitting next to, in a classroom, and all of a sudden my wrists started really hurting, really bad. And this is not the first time this has occurred, where I just started having a weird random pain. Now, I didn't fall on my wrist. I didn't twist it. I didn't do anything to hurt myself. But it hurt so bad that I ended up going home. And my mom ended up taking me to the hospital to get an x-ray to find out that there was nothing wrong with my wrist. Later to find out that there was someone in my class who had a sprained wrist or a broken wrist or what have you. So that as the example being, I felt someone else's pain as it was in my body. People don't think this is possible. We don't think that people can feel what we feel inside of us. Like when we side-eye someone or when we give someone this glare, people just like to assume that we can't feel them. But there are people walking among us that actually can feel these types of experiences. Do you ever walk in a room after a huge eruption has occurred, a fight, some sort of discord, and you walk in and you sense that vibrational energy that's pulling you down or causing fear or making you feel like maybe you should turn around and walk out? That's what I'm talking about. And we each have these receptors in us to be able to gauge how to maneuver ourselves. Now, when we sit there and we look upon another, instead of focusing on our own vessel, our own personal vessel, and our own vessel as a unit, and our own vessel as a family, when we sit there and we look outside of that and we compare, which, I mean, I'm guilty. We've all done this. This is something that is just natural in this 3D world, right? We try to find the repair, like we have to fix something because it's not the same as everybody else. And you'll have to excuse me. I have a dry tickle in my throat, and I may have to pause my video at times with a coughing fit. But especially when I talk so much. Anywho, I just lost my train of thought. But I feel like this is very pivotal for somebody here. who has a child who is maybe, you're kind of wondering if there's something going on with them. It's like, first year, second year, something has occurred where there's some sort of shift or change and your child is acting up. And this is very relevant to today's message that I'm going to be expressing the channel, because I feel like this could be this particular situation as a family unit with this child is causing some sort of eruption. It's like when you are faced in your partnership, in your marriage, even as a teacher, I even feel teachers can be affected by this as well when you're working with other teachers with children. So it doesn't have to be limited to a structure of a familial unit, but those who support and help children and really want to support and help children, I feel like there is some sort of discord happening for some child right now where they're erupting big. My child erupts big. And this is why I know this is something, because he feels the senses of everything around us. And that's something that I'm able to do. Now, over time, I have learnt I do this. He's being brought up by a parent who knows this. So I am right now the parent that he chose to have as a parent to help him in his life when he has these meltdowns, when he has these experiences. But when you have a young child that can't necessarily relay, they can't really tell you what's going on, or they don't really understand, and especially after 2020, with all that bullshit that happened, it's like the kids have really like had a real disservicing nosedive in life. It's like they've missed out on a lot. And at the same time, there was so much richness that we overlooked in regards to what had occurred. I know for myself, there was a lot of richness in the sadness that I experienced. I grew a lot in all the grief that happened. I learned how I was separated and how I can regain connection with myself. And that was really valuable. And I hope each and every one of you were able to look at those time frames in some sort of fashion where you saw value in whatever was experienced, aside from the hardships. If you could look at sometimes the things that we go through and you could sit with them, and as hard as they are, even losing somebody, as hard as they are, there's beauty in it as well. Because just as somebody being born onto this plane, somebody birthing into spirit is a beautiful thing. And it is important with these young children, especially this child that I'm talking about today, somebody's child, or maybe multiple of you are dealing with somebody who is having temper tantrums. They're not taking no very well. Or let's say you're like having a moment with your partner where you are disagreeing, and that heightens the whole platform of the home, and this child particularly takes it to the next level. And this is just like a minor little normal thing that you would argue about, like you forgot to put something in the freezer, or you shrunk my shirt, or something, right? And the child just gets set off by the energy of the home, or your other children, or maybe you have multiple children and maybe they're fighting, and that's causing some friction with this child. So it's a sensitive child, and this child, she or he, whomever, is having a difficult time bearing their grips, and they're feeling out of control. It's like their body is exploding into the environment, and they don't get that that's what you don't get. You don't see that that's what's happening. It's like they're feeling all of you as an attached experience to them. And they really need to understand that they are okay and they can be contained, that there's nothing wrong with this experience, but they need to learn to work with it. I hope this is making sense. I am leading into a channel with this. I'm just going to pull some cards here. I feel like when I come in and I speak about topics like this, it's like, even when I do my readings, it's like I get the reading done, I do the reading, I give the information, but the way my brain works, it's like the information comes in, I give it to you, and then I release it, and that's it. It's gone for me. So when I have people saying, oh, I love this reading of whatever you did, and I'm like, thank you, but I don't remember my reading. I might remember parts of it, specifics of it. I'm not sure. It depends. Like if it was the channel that I wrote down, I might remember that bit. But certain things that come in channeled, I don't necessarily recall because Spirit speaks through me at times when I'm working. You guys use your discernment when coming in my messages, in anybody's message really, but when you come in with mine, I'm just a human being. I am just sharing some thoughts that I have, some opinions that I have based on experiences that I have. You can take it or leave it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I am a human being having a human experience, and I am here to share my thoughts on that to help you. And if it helps you, great, I'm glad. But please use your discernment when coming in and taking from anything that I'm sharing, because not all is meant for you. Even though you might say, well, my kid's unruly and my kid acts up, but it may not be the same thing, okay? So you need to really understand this. Yeah, so you need to know. Okay, so this is another counterpart that I wanted to talk about, and I'm guessing Spirit really wants me to speak on this. Now, I am just going to read the card's energy as I read it, okay? Actually, I want to open this one just for a second. Actually, I want to pause it for a minute. Hold on. Okay. So I got the Wise Guy card, and I'm going to go in the channel. This is where this is directing me. I also pulled the Tribe card. I'll get into that after this. This is speaking about danger, upcoming danger. This could be somebody in your energy field, somebody who's tracking you, watching you, somebody who has some sort of vendetta. And I don't mean to cause fear, but this is a message the channel is going to potentially cause some understanding in why I'm saying why this card is being pulled. So this is a card where you need to get your bearings on all your surroundings. You need to look around yourself when you leave or when you go places, especially if this message resonates with you, okay? So you will have an experience of what I just expressed, where you have a young child or children, and there is a lot of uproar going on in your family unit. And this could be spiritual warfare as well, okay? That's something I did want to touch on as well. But I'm being guided to go this direction. So we'll see if by the end of the channel, Spirit guides me to speak on that. Maybe it'll be for another day. But yeah, Wise Guy is a card that just kind of tells you that you have somebody suspicious in your energy field. They might be portraying themselves, trying to get closer to you, trying to communicate to you. They might be injecting themselves in your energy field in some way, shape, or form for various reasons, okay? And the ancestors here is the tribe is expressing ancestor connection. I did want to speak on that while I was speaking a few minutes ago. And this is a thing that we may not understand, that in spirit, I know this to be true. I hope you know this to be true. And if you don't know this to be true, I hope you listen to my words and you understand this, that your ancestors, all those who passed before you, and even beyond your lineage, okay, you have beings in the other, beyond the veil, that support you, that hold space for you, that want the best for you, that want you to achieve things, and that are rooting for you. They're rooting for you, and they're rooting for you to find the way through whatever this is, the circumstance is that you're experiencing. I have to say this because a lot of the time I've noticed in this realm that a lot of people feel forgotten, they feel alone, and they feel left out, they feel overlooked, rejected, abandoned, betrayed, all the stuff. They feel a certain way about all the stuff. And I know this to be true. I have felt all of these ways all of my life in multitude of facets with multitudes of people, including my own family. And when you move forward in life, and you just focus on all the fucking people who don't give a shit about you, who pretend to give a shit about you, you're just going to find yourself in this downward spiral. It's just going to root you into this bullshit dynamic that you're experiencing, which is mainly just an illusion. It's a projection of something that has nothing to do with you. It's to keep you contained in some sort of package, in some sort of rooted system to benefit others. Your silence benefits people. okay? Some people, especially people who feel that you are taking some sort of spotlight above them. And they'll do things like spiritual warfare, like freezer spells to get you to shut up. They'll do things to cause energy manipulation in your family. If you have a young kid like what I just suggested, they may even go after your children to cause this fighting, this uproar, just to cause some friction. They may even go as far as to go to your neighbors and get them involved in some way. This is how spiritual warfare works. And this is how the spirits work through people. When you have this downward spiral where you feel like you don't have any support and you're just going in that rejection, that constant spirit of rejection, that constant spirit of rejection that you're anchoring yourself in is going to speak back to you at some point. It's going to entrain within you and it's going to become you. And you may not realize this, but that spirit's going to cause a rampage of that experience in your life. And we often, we look at our lives when we're learning, when we're young teenager years, adult years, and we're going through all the feels to learn and grow our character, our being. We go through this multitude of bullshit where we get in fights in high school or, she said this and that and vice versa. All these stupid little dramatic things that still occur as adults, I notice, but when you go through this and you take this as an understanding, a lesson, you understand you're learning something as you're moving through it, and you don't anchor yourself in what you've experienced as the disappointment of your life, you can flourish. And I feel like what the tribe card coming out is showcasing is you have ancestors that love you so much. And I know as a kid, I always felt my grandmother's presence, my grandfather's presence, my grandma that I never met. I felt her presence. I maybe couldn't correlate all the time what it was, but there was pivotal moments in my life where there was a very clear understanding that I had somebody in my room and I knew who it was. And they're there to show up for you. I remember after my dad passed, being really down in the dumps and really having a hard time of it. And I was in a really disconnected relationship as a new parent. And I felt like I was doing everything all by myself and nobody seemed to notice this. And it was just a very difficult time frame. And I remember one night having a vision of my grandfather come visit me. It was very real and it was very vivid. And we often have these associations in our lives where we see things that just seem miraculous or they seem out of this world, like it's impossible. But I'm telling you, it's possible. I've had so many connections, seeing spirits, seeing angels, seeing beings of light, seeing God, seeing things that most people say they cannot see. It is very possible to see the spirit realm. You just have to understand it's there and believe and open to it and speak to them. I remember speaking to my ancestors, praying to my ancestors since I was young. I always spoke to them. This was never anything new for me. I just was dismissed of it. Whenever I got caught doing it, I had to pretend that I wasn't doing it because it was frowned upon. So that could be significant for somebody here. But you need to know that you are surrounded by your ancestors and they are here trying to help you. And all you need to do is ask them. If you're feeling depressed, ask them to help you. Ask them to help you understand, to help you get out of it. Pray to God. I'm telling you, it is very powerful and it works instantly. It works instantly. Even if you don't think it's working. They hear your prayers and they want nothing more than to have you be content and in joy and in happiness moving forward. And when you are somebody that people are coming against you with spiritual warfare, you are offering something to this world that they don't want you to offer. And you need to keep shining beyond that because you're here for purpose. This needs to be said today. So yeah, you need to know that you're surrounded by your ancestors. You have spirit guides and you have a connection with God. You need to pray to God to gain that understanding of who God is for you. And I'm talking about the mighty high God. You need to understand that the creator of all things supports you and is here for you and is just waiting for you to speak to him. So that's that. I'm going to go into the channel now, but please understand those two cards came up for purpose. The channel is going to definitely correlate with them. So on the 5th of February, I went to bed, and 12:47 a.m. I started to I heard this crackling, crack, crack, crack noise behind my back. My back was facing this noise, and it sounded like crackling, something crackling, and it was three distinct cracks in a row, simultaneously, following the one before. And it repeated itself a second time, and it was even louder and closer to me. So I turned my light on because I was like, what the hell's making that noise, right? And I turned my light on to just look around the room, and I don't notice anything to see with my eyes. But I did notice that there was this lingering fear encompassing the room. And this resided just behind me, and it did not go away. I remember like thinking, what is this trying to show me? What's going on here, right? So maybe this is indicative to somebody trying to create fear in women. I'm a woman, and I felt a little bit of fear coming. One's and particularly women who might appear to be at rest or unsuspecting. I found my mind went into all these possibilities of what the noises could have been. So for instance, like the crackling of knuckles, excuse me, except the noise was louder. And then my mind wandered further into maybe bones cracking. But it would have to be three of them. Then I started to think about ribs, cracked ribs for some reason. And the simultaneous sounds of three cracks sounded as though there was space between each for whatever reason. Like the ribs would have the correct spacing, I think is what I meant to say with that. I also started to see like twigs in a forest. And you know, when you're walking in the forest and you're cracking on the sticks and the twigs, they make cracking sounds. So I started thinking about that as well. So I thought those could be it. And then my right ear started to ring. And it's interesting because just before I jumped into this channel, my left ear was ringing, which it was just funny, interesting that my right ear and then now my left ear. So some sort of balance is coming into fruition. Also, what came to mind, and again, coming into the channel, speaking about the vessel that we have in the family unit as a vessel, the thought of conflict with a loved one could be very relevant. This was a part of my channel, and tonight came up in the talk that I gave at the beginning. So a sudden understanding of the possibility that you could be a target stemming from this standpoint. So like you feel rejected and you created space between your usual comfort zone. So whomever you're in a partnership with, your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, your somebody that you're with, like maybe a teacher. For some reason I'm bringing up teachers, which I wasn't expecting to do. So maybe a teacher's assistant, somebody that you spend close time with. And this has to involve a child. There has to be an involvement of a child in this, I feel is very relevant. So this conflict that you have with this person, like you might get, maybe if it is a teacher, you have a great team with somebody, and like maybe you got in a conflict over this particular child that acts the way that I was describing above. Okay, so this is very relevant. The conflict encompassing a relation of close proximity, like I just announced. It could even be like a roommate or a parent and a child. As well, like it not just the unit, it could just be the parent and the child as well. So somebody that is always surrounding your daily life, and you become this target. Now the target, I feel in this channel, is somebody who feels rejected. Okay, so you may have experienced some form of rejection, or you might be going through something that's making you feel rejected. So maybe this behavior from your child, maybe you're feeling at your wit's end with it, and you feel rejected because you're not able to figure out how to remedy the situation, because you're not necessarily thinking of it in the way that it needs to be remedied. You're looking at it externally rather than internally in what's going on in the environment or what could be happening. What is this trying to teach you is often a thing that should be asked, right? So somebody who feels rejected, if you feel rejected, this could be a sign that you could be a target. Somebody who has placed some sort of distance within a circumstance of safety. So if you're a teacher and you work with the teacher's assistants, you're with each other all day, maybe you go for lunch and stuff, maybe you go out and you venture with each other and then you go home. Outside of this safety, when you leave, it could be the moment that that occurs, okay? That the target experience could happen. So just to be aware, an idea of safety, a component of connection that is loving and safe. So you feel very safe when you're at school working with your colleagues, or you feel very safe in your relationship when you're with your partner, or when you're with your child. Like there's a relationship that's compatible, that feels a very warm component and loving component to it. So I feel like this could be a type. So this when I was getting this channel, maybe a predator that has this type. This is what was coming into my forefront. So a certain type of pattern that they look for or hope to retrieve. And then when I was thinking that, I heard the word simultaneously. So there is just a distorted connection made where they execute their pattern. Then it was 12:55 on my clock. So there is a pattern here within these circumstances. So the pattern, sorry, I'm just going to go back up. The pattern being a conflict with somebody that you have a close connection with. The sudden understanding. So you might even have, what I mean by that is like you might, the sudden understanding that you feel rejected, that there's some sort of situation going on with you, but you might also have a sudden understanding that there's something around you occurring. Because the great sense of fear was on my back. So there could be a sense of fear when you leave the school. So this is important when our intuition pops up, when we're about to get in trouble in life, when we're about to be jumped or something's going to happen. There's this instant understanding that there's something greater coming, and the energy of it will come in. It will kind of swoop in depending on where it's coming from. So this energy for me when I was experiencing it the other day was coming from my back. So if you're feeling fear behind you, you're going to want to become bigger. You're going to want to look around. You're going to want to make a lot of noise. You're going to want to ensure that people hear you, okay? If this is you, if this is resonating with you and you're experiencing this. So this is the pattern. And all of this is going to happen simultaneously. Like you might just also, let's say it's a teacher and you're at school and you're working together and something happens that day where there's some sort of disruption between you and the homeostasis of you and your partner that you work with at school. And then you go and you leave outside of this circumstance, and maybe something's left unfinished, like there's some sort of abandonment or rejection or some like leftover turmoil that needed to be spoken of that wasn't hashed out. And then you leave, and then you have this sense something is following you. Don't let the experience that you have with the fighting with whomever it is override your intuitive senses when you feel fear, because you might correlate the two as the same and you might not understand. It's better to be safer than sorry, even if you look like a lunatic. When you're leaving your house and you're having that, like something like that just happened, or you're leaving your school and something like that just happened, and now you have to leave and you're going outside of that comfort zone, that safety zone, and then you have that in the back of your mind, but then you also have this fear come in. It's a swooshing. It doesn't leave. And it's like, you might even feel, if you're hypersensitive or able to understand what I'm saying, you might even feel like you have a target on you. Okay? So I need to express all of these little things because I feel like this is very relevant for somebody here. So while I was channeling all that, I started looking at my hair bonnet and what it represents as a form of protection. And this night I decided not to wear it. So I was looking at it. I was just too tired. I didn't want to put it on. And so I was like looking at it, and, it reveals a lack of protection is significant. So it's very important that you advocate for yourself in these instances, right? And it's very important that we get big. Or if we're leaving and we're getting the sense that something weird's going on, we need to ask people to help us. Ask for help. Ask someone to walk you to your car. Ask for help. Okay? Because it represents a lack of protection as significant. It could be spiritually. a lack of protection spiritually. It could be mentally, and it could be physically. And that's just by the bonnet, okay? So spiritually, being your spirit body could get attacked when you don't wear a bonnet. If you're someone under spiritual warfare, people could be coming for your crown. They could be coming for your throat. But when you wear a bonnet, it's essentially the crown that gets covered. The brain is covered with the bonnet. So mentally, your thoughts, the way you think, people who send spiritual warfare can manipulate through witchcraft, through black magic, thought patterns, and through sound, weaponry, even distortion can occur to create some form of pattern. I know this sounds like kind of woo-woo out there, but this is a reality. And if this is something that you're suspecting, I do encourage you to go up and look into it a little further. Also physically, the harm that could come from not having this protection on your crown could create some form of physical damage. So it could have a crown chakra significance with the mental disruption and the interference and manipulation, the lack of connection, lack of protection, instilling some form of fear. And it was like the cracking sound was to create the fear. So I perceived it as a mechanism pertaining to control or dominance came to my mind. So somebody trying to control or dominate some sort of structure, either externally or to be delivered to create the circumstance that they're wishing to gain. Okay, if that makes any sense. So they have a need for dominance, controlling the atmosphere with fear. 555 on my timer, 333 could be significant. 61416 on my timer. So 61416. That could be ages, that could be reference to ages. That could be references to, June? Yeah, June 14th, 16th, the year 2014, 2016 could be significant, or ages. Also, the numbers, if you add them up, is 657. And then I heard, I don't know where this is from, something on YouTube, emotional damage. I cannot say it as magnificently as that guy. Emotional damage could be of relevance here as well. And then I started to see this older, mature man. This is where the details come in. I started to see this older, mature man with salt and pepper hair. It was more pepper than salt. And there was something about his eyebrow too. He had this silver streak in his eyebrow. And the rest of his eyebrows were dark. And he had short, clean hair on the sides, maybe a little bit lengthier on the top. Maybe a few weeks into his haircut, because it's not so crisp and clean anymore. Also, something about the color blue. He may wear a blue blazer or a jacket top, maybe a suit. I don't see his legs in this particular vision that I was receiving, but he had brown beady eyes. There may have been a hint of greeny color to his brown eyes. So maybe a hazily color eye, or maybe some sort of pigmentation in his eye color that creates this brown eye with a bit of green in it. Then I started seeing Robert De Niro. I was being reminded of Robert De Niro. So I feel like this guy might resemble Robert De Niro. His nose might be different though. He sort of looks or aspires to look like Robert De Niro, this person that I'm speaking of. I also see 5 o'clock shadow on his face and a white shirt. He looks stressed. The energy resembles the end of a long work day, and he appears stressed. It's how they're coming across. Now, I notice my face is really shiny today. it and the lights hitting it. I did put some cream on it, but I feel like it could be relevant. Like the dewy look of sweating could be significant. Like this person might really look like that to you. If this is going to happen, if this is something that could occur, or has, or you've suspected, this is relevant. They appear stressed. That's how they were coming across. And I don't know why they, in this particular, when I was recording this, I said, it's how they are coming across. And I don't know why I said they. So maybe a couple of people here between the descriptions that I just mentioned. Okay. 111, I'm hearing little Nikki could be significant. So I will check. I checked out that movie, and what I did not know is that there was a second movie made for Little Nicky, so that could be relevant as well, or there could be some sort of resemblance to somebody there in regards to what I'm stating. I also heard in the spirit a cat meow in the which appeared to be in the distance, just a single meow. So that's relevant as well. That's haunting somebody actually. And I need to say this as I am giving this channel. Somebody here is very much a part of, is this person that I'm describing. Because I'm not able to connect to this unless you're in my energy field. So this cat meow that I heard is very relevant to a circumstance that occurred in this person's past. So I'm just going to bring that up. That spirit, again, our ancestors are around us. Even those of us who lack ancestral protection, who do shitty things to people, and then their ancestors decide not to back them anymore. So that's relevant here for somebody. I also felt at this point, after I heard the cat meow or coinciding with that, I felt like I was in a bedroom, and it wasn't my bedroom. And I'm being showed this windowsill, and the perimeter is painted white, and it's a thicker ledge on the windowsill that pertains the diameter of the window. And the moon, when it's out and it's full, it radiates light on the sides of the window fixture, and it illuminates the entire room. Shadows on the wall where the door is, or maybe a closet, I'm not sure which one it is. I'm feeling like it's a door. Could be both. And that could be significant. And something illuminated by the moon. Someone's dark shadows illuminated by the moon. Something happens at nighttime, maybe under a full moon. And then I also heard there's a pattern. And that was really weird. It was 12:12 on my timer. The moon illuminating windowsill, illuminating a wall. Because when I heard there's a pattern, it didn't make sense necessarily to what I was saying, but I felt like maybe I channeled something that I had stated, and it could have been that was the pattern. But there was a weird feeling or sensation that I had after I said that there was a pattern. And then it was 12:12 on my timer, and the moon illuminating the windowsill, illuminating a wall in the room or an aspect of the room. Then all of a sudden, Spirit showed me a shadow appearing over my phone, and which was weird because it was pitch black in my room, and there was this light like that created this shadow over my phone while I was recording, and it's alarming. So someone's alarms go off, heightens their awareness or their fear. Maybe 1367 is relevant. So like you might be. You might experience a shadow that all of a sudden casts fear, maybe, or like this literally is like a room that this is occurring in. That there's an awareness here. I'm just going to pause for a sec. Sorry about that. Then I heard a little boy say, "I was second. I was second." And I'm starting to see this little boy. He had sandy blonde hair. It was like a longer, messy hair kind of type. It was shorter and clean around the ears. I'm unsure of his age, but I guessed maybe around 8. Like that came to my mind. He had olive skin. He had blue eyes. He had light or light colored eyes. Sometimes I see blue eyes, but it's really green or like a light hazel. But anyways, he had blue eyes to my knowledge, but it could have just been light colored eyes. And he had really interesting dark eyelashes, beautiful dark eyelashes. So for whatever reason, I'm being showed a comparison to a Ken doll. I'm not sure why I was being showed that, because it's a child, but I was being showed a comparison to a Ken doll. So somebody is comparing or has compared this child to a Ken doll. Something about perfect features. So there's a type. Okay, there's a type. I heard a button-up shirt. I don't know what that's referencing. And they are smiling so hard through something they don't want to smile through. So I don't know why I am saying they, as I am only shown this one boy. However, he did say that he was second. So there could be more than one child involved here. And this could be this could also represent somebody's inner child. Now, this is for the person that's doing whatever they're doing. This person with the silver in their eyebrow that I'm being showed. And anybody in relation to this circumstance. But this particular person, I feel, is whom I'm speaking to at this point. This could be somebody's inner child. I'm also being showed somebody who is older that is mourning this spark that once was within them. That spark that was just described as the young child. And then I'm also hearing sobbing, like really crying heavily. And through their sobbing, this man states that they can't help themselves. So it starts to feel kind of really distorted and pedo-ish at this point. And I'm getting this uncontrollable sobbing. Somebody that has created a lot of remorse within them. I just heard, I deserve to die. So this person thinks that they deserve to die or they don't deserve to live. They're saying this to themselves as they're sitting on a bathroom floor with their knees crunched up to their face and they're crying hardcore sobbing. Okay. And this is essentially the message that I received the other day that I'm here to share today. And all of what I just shared is definitely relating to this whole message. I also had the other day, I'm just being showed this. I thought this was a different channel, but it may be relevant. Somebody with a beard is of significance as well. I had this vision of a man approaching me with a beard, wearing I think he was wearing like a purple jacket, and it was like in a parking lot. It felt like it was like, for those of you who are from like a cold climate where you get snow, when you get that first November, December crispness in the air and the snow's falling, or like maybe you've had your first melt and then you got a little bit more snow, but it's still not a lot of snow, but the roads are all still pretty clear and just salty. But maybe, between the sidewalks where the trees are planted, there's brush between the parking lot. There might be a little bit of snow there kind of experience is what it looked like, the landscape. And there was like a mall in the background in the distance behind him as he was walking towards me. And then there may have been another mall to where I was parked facing me perpendicular. Is that the right word? I'm not sure. To the road. This is significant. So a man with a beard could be significant as well. Might be driving by your place. Might be watching you. You might have noticed this person. Maybe this man with the white eyebrow has a beard, or maybe this is a totally different person. This channel could be hitting a few of you. So I'm going to jump in with some cards now just to get a little bit more of a reference to what we're dealing with here. Now, when I do channels like this, I do notice, sorry, I gotta check my cards here. I do get this idea as we're doing it that it's going to stay and maintain in this storyline. But I notice that when I do my channels and then I do the readings, they tend to encompass a few different dynamics that could be relatable to this. So not necessarily the whole package of what I just channeled is for you, but maybe aspects of it, things that you need to be aware of. I hope that makes sense. So this could go in a whole different direction, in a whole other storyline that still pertains to what I've just channeled. So just be mindful of that. And please, again, use your discernment. This message isn't for everybody, okay? I just noticed one of my cards was upside down, so I'm just going through to ensure that these are all right side up. And I'm just going to get a baseline for what Spirit wants me to share with you today. And then I think I'm going to check out for the night. But I hope you guys are all doing well. And I do hope that if this is going on for you, I want you to know that there is hope in your circumstance with your child. It's just a matter of maybe getting some assistance in regards to dealing with somebody who may have sensitivity. Could be ADHD, could be autism. It could just be somebody who is spiritually connected, and usually these types of people are. But I'm telling you, the sooner that you understand this, the sooner that you get that support, the better it's going to be for everybody. Okay? Okay, so Spirit, what is it that you're wanting to share today? What you're wanting me to tell my collective about this message? What is the message that needs to come across? Okay, so we have a King of Swords, and we have a Six of Pentacles that came out following it. So some sort of exchange of money regarding a King of Swords. Where I'm sitting, my foot's falling asleep. Pins and needles. I might have to get up and walk around a second. I have all these tables surrounding me right now, trying to hold all the cards that I'm using. Okay. So we have Justice in the reverse. So this message could be pertaining to a perpetrator. Sure, we'll see. Let me just move a little forward and get a storyline here. And Three of Pentacles collaboration. So there's more than one person working here. Let me just move my table here. There's more than one person working here. There's a collaboration. There's an exchange of money. And that's... excuse me. Some sort of lack of integrity regarding this King of Swords, or lack of integrity from the person paying this King of Swords, this collaboration to do something unjust to somebody. Could be a family, could be a person, could be a child. It's immoral, very dishonest. King of... oh, that's too many cards. But I feel like they're relevant. Okay. To cause some sort of heartbreak, the Three of Swords came out underneath the exchange of money. Excuse me. Let's see here. We also have the Six of Wands and the Tower in reverse that came out together, both in the reverse. The King of Swords could represent an authority figure, could be relevant here. Could be a teacher. Maybe that's why teacher was coming up. Maybe a teacher was paid. Maybe there's some sort of relevance for something that was done that was unethical. Just a second here. I got some cards that fell. So with the Tower and the Six of Wands in reverse, the Tower being, and this is in the future energy, and this is under the reverse justice. This could be I feel like somebody's in denial. They're trying to move forward in their pathway, but maybe what they've done, they're in denial. I feel like judgment energy is really huge right now in this energy. I wouldn't be surprised if that card came out. This Three of Swords, causing this Three of Swords situation. The Tower being mounting pressure, some sort of underlining situation is occurring for this individual. This King of Swords, this authority figure. So this could be a teacher. Or a teacher's aide, somebody who is significant in regards to the rules out of school. They were paid some form of money. Just see something here. Maybe they created some sort of heartache for a child. Something to do with lack of recognition. Or maybe they can't recognize you as the parent with this child. The two cards that fell out were the Ace of Pentacles in reverse and the Two of Wands in reverse as well. So this could be a teacher who's not receiving any blessings at this time, any financial rewards. Excuse me. Yeah, it's something that's misaligned in their character. They've done something misaligned in their character. And they're not seeing a way out of this. The Two of Wands being a card of choices. I feel like they're stuck in this dynamic that has occurred. They were paid for something to cause an injustice for somebody. Could be a child, could be a teacher. I know I'm fixating on the teacher aspect, but it's an authority figure. So it could be a boss. It could be could even be where you live. Could be your home. Could be your environment where your home is, like a landlord perhaps. And they've done this injustice to create some sort of, they were paid to create some sort of turmoil for you that would bring a Three of Swords energy. It's immense heartache and pain, suffering. I feel like they want you to be in this defensive energy. But you're not. You're not in it. And I think that could be the Tower for them, is to see that it's not working. Nothing is working. Maybe this is spiritual warfare. This is really highlighting in the energy right now. Like lack of recognition that makes sense. Like if they are trying to create some sort of turmoil for you, some sort of pain for you, they don't have, they may not have spirit. Let's see here. I go in my channel. I can't think of it right now. Ancestral protection, spirit protection, ancestor support. They may have done something that's not gaining any form of validation, and they've done this due to lack of envy or lack of self-esteem. Whatever this is that they've done that was unjust to you is because they lack self-esteem. They're envious, and now they're not receiving their payout. Maybe there was a payout. The Ace of Pentacles in the upright is like a blessing. It's being bestowed to you. It's a form of some sort of materialistic experience, right? But it's in the reverse. And in the reverse, excuse me, my voice is really getting a tickle right now. I might have a coughing fit. This is like they've missed something here. It's passing on this opportunity because they've done something. They're also stuck in this Two of Wands energy here. So the missed opportunity, like wasted time and energy, is how this feels. It's very misaligned. Their investment was not, it was very ungrounded energy. It was not very good. And then when you put that in with the Two of Wands as well, which is usually a directional, like it's a planning, it's to plan out of it, a potential to move forward in some way. But the fact that this is a reverse Two of Wands, this is, they're hesitant. There's an uncertainty in the air or a lack of options, maybe some self-doubt. I think it's a backfire. It's a fear of the unknown, really is what I feel. Like whatever they may have wished upon for you could very well be happening to them. It could very well be happening to them. This is in the environment right now. I think they're noticing something that they wished for you or tried to do to you didn't incur the way that they hoped it would. This King of Swords energy, this authoritative figure, in collaboration with a couple of other people. So there's like a collaboration of at least 3 people here. And there's some sort of exchange of money. But the money that was exchanged, whatever was supposed to happen, wasn't fulfilled. And this is their Tower in reverse. So a Tower in reverse. It didn't work. Whatever they wish would collapse didn't work. What are the emotions here? I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of stuffy. It's like they don't want to show their emotions. The cards are taking forever to jump out. One card, please, for the emotions. It's like their game face is on. The wise guy. Their game face is on. They're trying to act cool and collective while the ancestors are watching them, not supporting them or helping them. They went after somebody who is protected, it appears. If their ancestors aren't helping them, then they went after somebody who they shouldn't have gone after. Whoa. That's way too many cards, but that's pretty interesting how these cards flew out. I do feel like taking a couple of them. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry, I had to move the table to get the card. So I'm going to take 2. There's a card that landed on the floor and a card that landed on the table. Both again in the reverse. We have the Strength card in reverse as the emotions. So they are not strong. They're not strong. I also had 3 cards land together in the crack of my computer here. I'm just going to look at them for a minute. Yeah, I feel like the Sun card, the King of Cups. So you have the Sun card, something's being illuminated. You have somebody here who's emotionally intelligent. The King of Cups, I feel, is representing that. So this could be you. You could be somebody who's emotionally intelligent. you're learning to work with your child, or you're learning to work with yourself, and people might be misconstruing it or misunderstanding. That energy was really present at the beginning of this channel. I did try to do this video a couple times, so I may not have said it in this video if I didn't. I did start out one of my videos with this understanding of misunderstanding you. Somebody might be misunderstanding you, and you might not be correcting them, and that's totally fine. That's on somebody if they want to misunderstand you, or if they want to paint this illusion that they believe about you and tell the world that's who you are when it's clearly not. That's their prerogative too. It feels like somebody did something like that here. Then we have the wand, 10 of Wands, which is burdens. So somebody tried to create burdens for you emotionally. They tried to make, like I said at the beginning of this, it was very relevant. People's children acting up, or people coming after people's children to create some sort of turmoil in an environment. And then we have a Queen of Swords energy. So you're speaking your truth. The King of Swords here energy as well is an authoritative figure that could have been paid. But it could also, with the Queen of Swords, this could be like a married couple or a couple of people, because we have a pair here that are coming out now, both precedingly in the upright positioning. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. I shouldn't say it's in the upright, because the way... No, I will take it in the upright. I feel like they are masquerading as something that they're not. They are actually probably in the reverse, Queen of Swords energy, but they're masquerading as the Queen of Swords in the upright. So they're speaking words that sound loving and kind over somebody's life, like let's say your life, acting like they're maybe being supportive of you. Maybe they're like, oh my God, did you see that poor lady? Oh, her kids are so unruly. Can you believe it? I feel so bad for them. I mean, how does she do it? Or how does he do it? Like some sort of like volume of like empathetic empathy that's being directed over your or over your name, but with this undertone of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like of guiding somebody into a thought pattern, a mental thought pattern, an idea. Like then they leave the conversation thinking like, oh, her kids are acting unruly, and like the telephone game, like someone just causing drama in your life is how this card feels to me, because it doesn't feel like a genuine upright. I'm not taking these cards, but it's interesting that a pair came out. So this could be a couple of people in a relationship. And yeah, because that energy doesn't feel like it's authentic in that sense, to me at least. So I'm going to state it that way. And then we have, in association with the Strength card in the reverse, as the emotion. So they're acting like they're strong, but they're not. It's in the reverse. They're really like buckling at the knees, but they are really trying to put on a mask that everything's cool. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like leaves in the middle of the night. Like, I've had that happen. In my neighborhood, I've seen people just randomly leave. You don't see them again in the middle of the night because of whatever they construed for themselves has backfired on them. And then we have the Six of Swords, this is some sort of confusion, some sort of stress. So maybe they're confused. Why didn't it work? I was paid money. Maybe they're on the run because maybe they didn't fulfill what they were told to fulfill, and now someone's after them. That could be it as well. The Six of Swords is stress. It's distress. It's an unresolved issue going on, and this is also avoiding a conflict too. So maybe the jig is up. Like maybe people are aware, like maybe you're aware of what's going on in your environment or whatever the circumstance is that's been illuminated. And maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a neighbor, maybe it's a teacher, whatever the construct is, the jig is up. You know it and they know it. And they can't face you, although they're acting with their face up like everything is cool. It's we're strength, we didn't do nothing. You're intuitively understanding and knowing you've had this nudge of what has really occurred. how they have manipulated or caused some sort of disservice in your life. And this could be pertaining to your child if it's a teacher. It could be pertaining to your children if you are somebody who's under spiritual warfare as well. And you would know this in various ways. Maybe the moon cycles are significant because the illuminated moon came up in the channel as well. And we are going into a full moon. Excuse me. Yeah, and the strength card again, but in the reverse, it's like it's aggression. It's an insecurity and self-doubt as well. It's an embodiment of impatience too. And if you are somebody who's super insensitive, like I am, you will feel people who like around you who are feeling this, and you might even, if you're Hyoka, you might even take it on as your own until you realize it's not you. That's how significant the Hyoka at the beginning of this is to this channel, because there are children here who are very special children that are being played with because of that, trying to cause turmoil in your life for whatever reason. I mean, if this message fits you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly why people are coming up against you. And maybe you are aware that there is some sort of manipulation happening with your children that could all of a sudden be acting up for no reason. Doesn't make sense. And it's like a domino effect too. It could be if you have multiple children, or just out of nowhere, just this reaction or the sensitivity to the energy. But the energy of your home is calm and kind, but then the energy that you're feeling coming in, maybe you're feeling this energy coming in, could be casting fear. You might experience it as maybe you feel somebody who's angry. Maybe you went to a store and there was some sort of issue that happened that the energy stuck to you and came home with you because your child connected with it so deeply. This is very possible to occur with people who are energetically sensitive. So that is very key for somebody here to take away, that you might need some assistance with your children in this regard. And I'm not a doctor, but I don't mean to medicate them either, unless, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I just feel like we're not all meant to be the same. And I have my own experiences with medication, watching my father with mental illness and watching people I know on SSRIs, trying to help their brain mechanisms or depression or whatever it is that they've dealt with. And you really want to investigate those moving forward. If you are dealing with a sensitive child, I would recommend getting some support to help you deal with your environment with them, and techniques to breathe, techniques to sit with them. I personally don't believe that I see more people complaining about their medication than I do applauding it. I see more people complaining that their dose is up, it's not working anymore, or it never really worked. And a lot of the side effects with the medications, again, they're severe. They're severe. There are natural remedies that aren't spoken about loudly or publicly that could be of service and helpful. So, but hey, you do you. That's my message today, guys. I hope it resonated. And if it did, I hope it was helpful. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it there, guys. I'll come back soon enough with another video. Until then, take care. Bye.